Chapter 1 Oswald the Rabbit.
I recently sat down and watched every single black and white Mickey Mouse short for my own amusement. I found it to be a joyous and educational time, and I'd like to share some of my experiences with you. First, we must go back to 1927, a full year before Mickey Rat's boat ride. Walter Disney released Trolley Tubbles, the first Oswald the Lucky Rabbit cartoon. I'm including these in my list because Oswald is basically just Mickey Mouse, and a lot of the DNA of the early Mickey Mouse shorts can be found in these Oswald shorts. I could also include the Alice comedies and the Laughograms in this list, but I'm not going to because Alice is a live-action girl and I'm an emotionally stunted adult who can only relate to cartoon animals. Let's get started. 1927, Trolley Troubles. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit and his mutant offspring are seen greasing up his train. They set off and try to get over a hill with the help of a friendly goat. Some other stuff happens and Oswald drowns in a river. Overall, off to a very good start. Good job, Walt Disney. The animals held my attention span for 5 minutes. Oswald number 2, Oh Teacher. Oswald is picking up his rabbit girlfriend to take her to school. Apparently they go to school in this one, I don't know. She puts on a very large pair of underpants and they set off. Oswald's bike is then stolen by a pesky cat and his rabbit girlfriend dies in a river. Okay, so they actually get to school. Oswald's never approved of race mixing, so he's hatching a plan to smash the cat's head in with a brick. This works, and he gets the girl. That's how Corty used to work. Ask your grandparents. Number 3, Mechanical Cow. There's a mechanical cow. It lives with Oswald. They go roller skating and feed some milk to a hippo baby. Does Walt Disney have a lactation fetish? Yes, he does. Don't be judgmental. He meets up with his rabbit girlfriend after giving the cow another good milking. She gets kidnapped by a furry man. They chase after them and then they fall off a cliff and drown. Okay, that doesn't happen. Sharks eat the bad guys and Oswald and his girlfriend ride off on the cow and the cow's never seen again. Number 4, Great Guns. Oswald puts his trousers on and kisses his girlfriend multiple times because he's off to fight in the American Civil War, or maybe it's World War I. I don't really know. At one point he gets into a tussle with a mouse. Could this mouse be Mickey Mouse? Oh wait, never mind. He then does a war with a bear and an elephant explodes. Oswald then fucking dies. But it's okay because his rabbit girlfriend appears and they have a treaty and she makes him alive again using a cocktail shake at the end. Number 5, All Wet. It's the beach episode. Oswald is selling hot dogs on the beach. Note that the hot dogs are sentient and require punishment. This will be relevant later on. Oswald sees his rabbit girlfriend and stops selling hot dogs so he can impersonate a lifeguard, putting many beachgoers at risk of drowning. His rabbit girlfriend gets into a boat and changes into a swimsuit, and I start to get a funny feeling in my trousers. Please don't write that in the script, nobody needs to know that. She then gets out of the boat and into the water, and then a fish tries to eat her, and then Oswald saves her, and then they kiss, and the episode ends. Number 6, The Ocean Hop. Oswald made a plane out of wood and he's trying to win a race from New York to Paris. His plane is shitty and it doesn't take off, so he makes a new plane out of one of those long dogs that you see in cartoons. 2 mice try and inflate each other. There's this one bit where there's 2 signs, one's pointing towards Paris and the other towards the North Pole, but the Paris one is pointing to the west, which means that they should be over Europe and not over the Atlantic Ocean, which is implied where they are. So this sign here should be inverted. There we go, that's better. But the bear changes the sign anyway, but only as a plot device to make Oswald go in the wrong direction. But then the dog dies and he lands in Paris anyway, and he gets lots of lovely kisses. Number 7, The Banker's Daughter. This cartoon is actually lost. It no longer exists. I did find another cartoon called The Banker's Daughter from 1933. Basically, bootleggers kidnap the banker's daughter and then tie her to like a sawmill thingy, and then this man in tight trousers saves her. It was really good. But if anyone has a film printer or like an MP4 file of the Oswald one, just let me know because I'd like to see that one as well. Number 8, Empty Socks. This is another lost one, but it exists in screenshot form. Oswald visits a cat orphanage at Christmas, and then the orphanage sets on fire, and then he sprays gasoline everywhere and ruins Christmas. Number 9, Rickety Gin. This is also a lost cartoon. Number 10, Harem Scarum. This is also a lost cartoon, like 2 seconds of it exists, and it's Oswald riding a camel. Number 11, Neck and Neek. First thing I notice about this cartoon is that Oswald has a new girlfriend, and she's a cat. If you recall back in Our Teacher, Oswald was always talking about how cats and rabbits don't mix, and how he must keep the bloodline pure. But apparently the SJWs are now making the Oswald cartoons are infecting it with their propaganda. This is still 1928, however, and the police are coming to crack down on Oswald and his slutty ways. After a long chase, they crash the car and the episode ends. Number 12, The Old Swimming Hole. This is lost for a while, but someone found it, but they haven't uploaded it to YouTube, so I can't watch it. Number 13, Oswald Goes to Africa. Oswald's just chilling and getting blown by his elephant, and there's some funny monkeys. At one point, a monkey removes his teeth and uses it to eat his back hair. Pay close attention to the false teeth. This will come up later. It was a common dental practice in the 1920s to remove entire sets of real teeth and replace them with false teeth. This is to avoid future dental complications. Number 14, Rival Romeos. The filthy race mixer Oswald is going to pick up his cat girlfriend in his shitty car. Okay, I'll stop making jokes about that. I actually prefer Hortensia's design, that's her name by the way, to his previous love interest, who was basically just a girl version of Oswald. I was looking up Minnie Mouse porn last night, and most of it was just kind of weird and disgusting looking. It gave me this deep uncanny valley effect, which could be comparable to staring at a corpse. The few scraps of Oswald x Hortensia of Rule 34 I found though were pretty good, but I won't show them in this review. Oswald gets to the house and uses the goat as a record player. Pay close attention to this as it will come back later. This annoys her dad or someone who throws a chamber pot out of the window. It was common practice in olden times to keep chamber pots in bedrooms to piss in, as this was before indoor plumbing was widespread. Number 15, Bright Lights. Oswald wants to go see a slutty cat show but doesn't have 50 cents. This'll be under $8 in 2020 money, so clearly these must be hard times for Oswald. He sneaks in backstage by mangling a security guard's legs around a lamppost, crippling him forever. Once inside, there are lions and Oswald pulls his trousers down, most likely exposing his rabbit cock. The lions escape into the city and probably end up mauling people. Number 16, Sagebrush Sadie. This is lost, only a pencil test remains. Number 17, Ride and Ploughboy, also lost. Number 18, Ozzy of the Mounted. Oswald joins the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and is tasked by a man with false teeth to capture Pissleg Pete. Oswald strips down to his underpants as is tradition and confronts Pete, but Pete is very strong and starts strangling Oswald until he dies. Number 19, Hungry Hobos. Hard times continue as Oswald and Pegleg Pete ride the railway. 2 bovine teats dangle seductively above Oswald's head before drenching him in fresh, delicious milk. They convince a chicken to shit out 2 eggs from its neck cloaca, and Oswald is on fire, and Pete cooks 2 eggs on him. A policeman sees this and chases after them, so that they abuse multiple animals to throw him off the scent. This backfires, however, and they run away. Number 20. Oh, what a night. Oswald rides on his horse to meet his cat girlfriend and she blows him a kiss. He pulls his trousers down as is tradition and climbs to the top of the tower for more kissing. Then a large bear appears and it is revealed that she is in prison, possibly for committing crimes. Oswald doesn't care, so they sword fight, and then there is a lion in the cupboard, so they go out the window and parachute down, and he pulls her trousers down for a change, and then the cartoon ends. Number 21, Poor Papa. This is actually the first Oswald cartoon produced, but it was aired later for some reason. Remember Oswald's mutant offspring from Trolley Troubles? Well, this is how they came to be. A large bird drops a comical amount of children into Oswald's house. This is a metaphor for the rabbit sexy time. Oswald just wants to churn butter, but his children want his attention or something, so he goes up to the roof to shoot birds. This might be a metaphor for abortion, or maybe it's just a metaphor for shooting birds on the roof to distract yourself from your hundreds of horrible rabbit children. Number 22. The Fox Chase. Oswald tries to chase a fox on a horse and he's really bad at it. Eventually they cornered a fox in a log and it was a skunk the whole time. Number 23. Tall Timber. Oswald's driving his canoe as usual and he starts shooting ducks. He's really shit at it though. Poor Papa Oswald was really good at shooting birds, but he's lost his touch since then. Some shit happens and Oswald ends up being chased by a bear. He steals Mama Bear's coat and then becomes a straight up pimp. Number 24. Sleigh Bells. This is kind of a lost film. Apparently a full print exists somewhere, but it's not one of the first search results on YouTube, so I'm saying it's lost. From the scraps of footage I did find, it looks like Oswald skates around for 7 minutes and that's about it. Number 25. High Up. This was a lost film that was apparently rediscovered in 2017, but it's not on the top search results on YouTube. So I'm still saying it's lost. Number 26. Hot Dogs. Also lost. Sorry. Number 27. Skyscrapers. This is the final Oswald cartoon. Actually, High Up was the last one produced by Disney. No one cares, it doesn't exist. Oswald was doing manual labour badly, and his cat girlfriend comes round to sell him a sandwich. Note the sentient hot dog. This is a recurring theme. Pete is on top of the building chewing tobacco. Pay close attention to how he uses a hook to pick up Hortensia by her underwear. We'll come back to this later, it'll be very important. They do some dangerous 1920s building site fighting and then Oswald gets the girl at the end. Well, that's every Oswald cartoon produced by Disney. Someone else took over after that and made about 400 more Oswalds, but I'm not interested in that. This marks the end of the silent era for Disney because after this all his cartoons had synchronized sound.
Chapter 2. Mickey Mouse. In 1928, Russell Disney wasn't being paid enough by Universal to make the sexy rabbit Oswald cartoons. So he and some other guy made a disgusting rat creature who can also talk now. He made about 70 of these before they went into colour and then he did something else, I forget. Anyway, I'm going to talk about each one of these and I'll tell you a bit about each one.
Let's kick it off with 1928's Steamboat Willie. Willie the Mouse is working aboard a steamboat captained by Pete the Cat. Pete is chewing tobacco. This is a recurring theme, it will come back later. The boat makes landfall at a harbour and Wickus tries to winch up an emaciated cow. The cow sprays him with creamy, delicious lactations. And then the boat sets off again. It's at this point that we're introduced to the female character, Minnie Mouse, who also wants in on a good nautical adventure. Wilkins uses the winch to lift Minnie by her underwear and onto the boat.
If you recall back to chapter 1,
this exact same thing happened in Skyscrapers to Oswald's love interest Hortensia. This seems to be how ladies were commonly transported in the 1920s. Later on aboard the boat, they start up a jaunty musical number. Wilbur uses a goat as a record player. I hope you were paying attention, as it is now later, and it has come back. Walt Disney doesn't seem to have many ideas. He has the milking, the animal record players, the Pete, the girl character, and the rat wearing short trousers. People seem to talk shit about Disney running out of ideas now that he's been dead for half a century. But in actuality, he was running out of ideas when he was still alive. Anyway, some other shit happens and Wilkins' mouse gets caught and he has to peel potatoes, but he's really bad at it. Maybe they should give him a potato peeler instead of an African genocide machete. Anyway, on to the next one. Number 2, The Galloping Gaucho. Mickey travels to modern-day Buenos Aires. He rides his ostrich to a bar or something and climbs through the window. Mickey Mouse lights up a cigarette and then drinks a beer. Remember when the cartoons could smoke the cigarettes and drink the beer? It's like Pete and his chewing tobacco, you can't really do it anymore. Please take note that Mickey Mouse's teeth aren't real, he has fake teeth. Minnie is doing a dancing in the club and then Pete kidnaps her. What follows is a thrilling chase scene. I want to say now that I'm actually watching a colorized version, but I've converted it back to black and white using magic. The black and white version I found on YouTube was in 240p and had that irritating shaky cam stabilization thing that moves the screen about. I don't really like this and wish people would stop using it. After the thrilling chase scene, Pete takes Minnie inside his very tall house and then chains her up so that he can laugh at her. That's all that happens. This is the 1920s, rape hadn't been invented yet. Mickey uses his tail to get inside the house and then they sword fight and go home on his ostrich. Number 3, The Barn Dance. Mickey Mouse turns up at Minnie's shack and she puts on a fresh pair of knickers because they're going to the barn dance. Oh look, it's the first appearance of Donald Duck. It's at this point that Pete arrives in his fancy new car and Minnie decides to go with Pete instead of Mickey because women only care about money. But then it turns out Pete's car is a piece of shit, so Minnie goes to Mickey, who now has a higher social standing than Pete because he's the only one with functional transport. The horse shows its arsehole to the couple, signifying that they're ready to set off to the barn dance. They arrive at the barn dance and Mickey starts stomping on Minnie with his big woman stomping shoes. Minnie doesn't like this, however, so she ends up dancing with Pete, but Mickey then decides to put some balloons down his trousers so he can dance with Minnie without stomping on her. Pete is just chilling in the corner chewing tobacco, but then he gets the great idea to pop Mickey's trouser balloon and Mickey comes tumbling down on top of Minnie. Pete actually gets the girl in this one. I think this is the only time that this happens. Number 4, Plane Crazy. Iterating upon Oswald's sausage dog plane design, Mickey attempts to take off into the sky in his new plane. This doesn't really work. Mickey then makes a new plane out of a car and bits of a passing peacock. He invites his mouse girlfriend to take to the skies with him, except no, that doesn't really work. They end up fucking about on the ground for a bit. At one point they smash into a cow because Mickey needed a bath in warm, sweet udder secretion. Eventually they take off. Invigorated by lactose, Mickey invites Minnie to join the Mile High Club with him despite being barely 30 feet off the ground. Minnie refuses his advances, however. Lucky for Mickey, he understands that women need to feel like they're going to die before they can do the sexy time with anyone, and then ends up fucking about with the plane and doing loop-de-loops. Mickey then forces himself upon a terrified Minnie, but for some strange reason this doesn't work and Minnie ends up jumping off the plane using her underpants as a parachute. Mr. Disney, do we need to see Minnie's underwear in every cartoon? Yes. Mickey then crashes the plane and fucking dies. Number 5, The Opry House. Mickey uses his trusty pin to deflate an obese man so he can get inside the theatre to see a show. The show mostly consists of a pig with no teeth pulling on cattails and Mickey having a fist fight with a piano. That's all that happens. Moving on. Number 6, When the Cat's Away. This is the weirdest fucking Mickey Mouse episode. Tom Cat leaves his shack with his trusty shotgun and a bottle of moonshine. It's unclear what his plan is for the day, but he's never seen again. An actual mouse-sized Mickey Mouse then appears and sneaks into Tom Cat's house with all his mouse friends to have a party. They feed cheese into a player piano, and then some other mice just mutilate themselves into a makeshift record player. And then they just dance. They just dance, that's it. Episode over. Episode 7, The Barnyard Battle. Michelle Rat undergoes mandatory penis inspection day. Remember at school when the PE teacher would check your penis for spiders behind the bike shed after school? Well, Mickey Mouse passes with flying colours and is eligible to join the army. Apparently, mouse and cat relations are at breaking point after last episode's escapades, and things have escalated into full-blown war. The war is long and brutal. I have no jokes about this. I see no humour in entire generations being lost due to senseless and bloody conflicts. Anyway, the moral of the story is if you fail penis inspection day, you get to go home early once your PE teacher has finished fondling you. Episode 8, The Ploughboy. After signing a peace treaty with the cats, Mickey returns to an agrarian lifestyle, ploughing the fields with his new friends, BoJack Horseman, Donald Duck, and Peter Pig. Michaela gets thirsty, so he heads over to Minnie's cow to harvest some sweet secretions, but Mickey is actually thirsty for something that Minnie has. They don't call him the Ploughboy for nothing. Despite consent not being invented yet in 1929, Mickey's advances fail and he returns to the field defeated. A buzzy bee lands on Mr. Ed and bites him. This results in him breaking the plough, which makes Mickey sad because his livelihood is now dependent on a successful harvest. Luckily, Porker Lewis steps in as a replacement plough and all is well. Episode 9, The Carnival Kid. This film is notable as it is the first to prominently feature Mickey Mouse talking. Look, he's about to say his first word. Basically, Mickey Mouse is selling hot dogs at the fairground, and he tries to give his sausage to Minnie, which she gladly accepts this time round. However, it turns out that the hot dog is alive and doesn't want to be eaten. You see, the joke is that the sausage is called a hot dog, which has the word dog in it. And dogs tend to bark and bite things a lot and don't want to be eaten. Walt Disney found this joke so funny that it's actually recycled from an Oswald short made 18 months prior. Wow, amazing job! Moving on to the film's second act, we see that mouse and cat relations are steadily improving. Cats are now relegated to a subservient, minstrel-like role. How very sickening. Moving on. Number 10. Mickey's Follies. Mickey Mouse organises a sick music festival for all his barnyard friends. The festival was going down a treat until the pig lady started singing. Everyone is displeased with her performance, but luckily the woman moving winch is still in use in 1929, so they whisk her away. Mickey finishes the show with one of his classics and the crowd is pleased, until Mickey Mouse started trashing his instruments. He starts jumping on top of his piano before the top caves in. He's okay initially, but then he's struck in the head by some falling debris, killing him instantly. Number 11. Mickey's Choo Choo. Mickey Mouse has a new job driving a sentient railway locomotive. He backs up into the station and then feeds the train a lovely bin lid full of coal. He then rips out a stray dog's false teeth to open a can of delicious spaghetti for himself. It's at this point that Minnie Mouse arrives at the station with her violin and they board the train together. The train sets off and Minnie seems a lot more receptive towards Mickey's sexual advances today. Maybe it's all the coal smoke. The train gets to the top of the hill but it can't get over and then it goes backwards. Oh well. Number 12. The Jazz Fool. After Merkel's short foray into train driving ended prematurely, he makes a return to the musical scene. I have little to say about this one. The highlight of this film is BoJack Horseman removing his false teeth and proceeding to molest a young kitten. The star of the show, however, is Mickey Mouse, who furiously beats and jolks his piano into submission. It plays out almost exactly like how it did in the Opera House. I'm not going to accuse Disney of recycling animation this time, however, because it makes sense in universe. You see, Mickey is a performance artist, so it makes sense for him to perform the same acts over and over and over again, perfecting them as he goes along. He is truly a mouse dedicated to his craft, and I have respect for that. Moving on. Number 13. Jungle Rhythm. Manuel Raton takes his musical act to the jungle and performs for all the local animals. They all love the music, except the chimpanzees, because they're very hard to please. Morkel then copies BoJack Horseman and molests a young kitten. Uh-oh. Looks like I'm gonna have to add Mickey to my list of rapist music. Lucky for Mickey though, this is still 1929 and Mickey gets away with his crimes and doesn't go to mouse prison. Number 14. The Haunted House. Mickey quickly escapes the jungle so news of his crimes don't spread and finds himself caught out in a storm. He goes into someone's house and hides inside the chamber pot. He is then approached by the owners of the house who don't have any skin, but luckily they're huge fans of Mickey Mouse's music and ask him to perform for them. Maggie Simpson is very modest about his talents and refuses, but this lady is insistent, so Mickey plays a jaunty tune and everybody dances. says. The rain then lets up. Mickey forgot to go wee-wee in the chamber pot earlier, but luckily here's an outhouse. Oops, sorry madam, I'll be leaving now. Number 15. Wild Waves. Minnie Mouse takes a trip to the beach with these massive 30-foot waves crashing onto the shoreline. Naturally, she's taken out to sea by one of these waves and is in need of rescue. Meanwhile, Mickey Mouse, the on-duty lifeguard, is too busy playing his ukulele to save Minnie and she drowns. Not really. Mickey saves her and she starts crying like a moron. And look at her feet, are those high heels? She is very ill-equipped for a trip to the beach and is now suffering for it. Number 16. Fiddling Around. We are treated to one of Mickey Mouse's many musical shows. In this one, he is playing violin in front of a crowd, and he starts to cry because not only is he really bad at playing the piano, but now they're shining a bright light into his eyes. Oh, that poor mouse, it hurts so much. I want to point out that the animation in this one looks really detailed and nice looking. They animated Mickey's shadow really close to his movements and it looks super duper good. Anyway, Mickey leaves mid-performance because he's so distraught about his terrible fiddle playing and everyone in the crowd is just disgusted with him. Number 17. The Barnyard Concert. After failing miserably at playing music, Mickey makes a slight career change and starts conducting music. Oh look, he's doing this again. If you're wondering why the quality in this one is so bad, it's entirely down to how I acquire my footage. Basically, I'm a hardcore gamer and every second spent not gaming to me is time wasted. So when I'm in the middle of a hardcore gaming sesh, I'll shift tab into Steam browser and look up some high quality Mickey Mouse clips on YouTube. Now it's a simple matter of launching a favourite unregistered hypercam and away we go. Number 18. The Cactus Kid. Mickey Mouse and BoJack Horseman go on a package holiday to Benidorm and make a visit to their favourite whorehouse. Minnie says something in Spanish maybe and then breaks a perfectly good whore lamp. Pegleg Pete then enters the scene and steals a beer from Minnie, but lucky for Mickey Mouse he has his gun and Pete's false teeth fall out, and it just freeze frames on Mickey and his eyes get more and more hyper-realistic and realistic blood starts coming out of his eyes and it stays like this for the next 6 minutes before the cartoon ends. Number 19. The Firefighters. Mickey Mouse and BoJack Horseman are sleeping at the local firehouse. They are rudely awoken as the entire city is on fire. BoJack puts in his false teeth and he and Mickey ride off into town. It turns out that Minnie Mouse is the culprit as she's been smoking in bed again, the dirty bitch. Just listen to that smoker's cough. Anyway, Mickey rescues Minnie from the fire and leaves everyone else to burn. Number 20. The Shindig. It's the return of the barn dance. This time, however, the animals take their very long car to the barn dance, except BoJack Horseman and Clarabelle Cow, who go separately on motorcycle. They arrive at the barn dance, and everyone starts dancing. Mickey and Minnie are put in charge of the entertainment, and Mickey keeps doing this to Minnie, which she doesn't like. In the end, Mickey gets anal thawed, and the film ends. Number 21. The Chain Gang. Well, looks like Mickey's sex crimes have finally got him into trouble and he's been sent to Mouse Prison. Mickey is tasked with breaking some large rocks into smaller rocks, which he does with great difficulty. He then decides that prison life isn't for him and then decides to make a break for it. The guards set the dog on him and then Mickey rides a horse and experiences some CBT, which he isn't overly fond of. This prompts Mickey to return to Mouse Prison to serve out the remainder of his sentence. Number 22. The Gorilla Mystery. Mickey Mouse is released from prison after 35 days and returns to life on the outside. But all is not well as a vicious gorilla is about to eat his mouse girlfriend, Minnie Mouse. Mickey goes to Minnie's house and starts sneaking around as to not alert the creature, and Donald Duck, what are you doing here? I'm in the wrong house, says Mickey. Eventually, Mickey confronts the animal and pulls out his trusty gun and blood starts pouring out of his realistic looking eyes. Not really. They trip the gorilla and save the day. Number 23. The Picnic. Morecambe Moose takes his mouse girlfriend Minfred out on a lovely picnic, but she wants to bring her dog along, so Mickey ties the dog to the back of his car and drives off. This is usually considered quite cruel and will kill most dogs. Anyway, they arrive at the picnic spot and Minnie's dog is now dead and will never be seen again. Mickey and Minnie start dancing and then insects steal all their food and they starve to death. Number 24. Pioneer Days. Oh no, it's a racist one. I can't watch this. Yes, I can, just try and stop me. Mickey, Minnie and the whole gang are travelling the Old West to somewhere and then Injuns attack for no reason. One of the Injuns takes Minnie to his house, which is outside, and Mickey pulls out his gun. Oh well, but it's okay, the US Army shows up and kills all the Injuns.
Number 25. Minnie's Yoo-Hoo. Mickey Mouse makes a song about his mouse girlfriend. That's about it. We get it, Mickey, you have a mouse girlfriend you've told us about 50 times, no one cares. There's also a sing-along version at the end, which is very nice and not often seen in films around this era, so Mr. Disney was a bit ahead of his time. Good job.
Number 26. The Birthday Party. Minnie Mouse invites Mickey over for his birthday, and all his animal friends are there for the party. The chef even makes Mickey a birthday cake, but Mickey spits it everywhere. Mickey then opens up his present and it's a piano. Doesn't Mickey Mouse have enough pianos already? Oh god, he's singing again. Please stop, please just let it end. Why does every shot have to be a musical? Is that a xylophone? Fucking stop already, fucking Mickey Mouse and his fucking songs.
Number 27. Traffic Troubles. Mickey Mouse gets a job as a taxi driver and then picks up a passenger who happens to be a very large pig. You can tell he's very rich because success was measured by girth in the 1930s. He drives down the road very carefully, but after a short trip ends up losing the passenger. He then meets up with his mouse girlfriend Minnie Mouse, who is very keen to get somewhere. I forget where. He and Minnie drive outside the town and then the car's tyre breaks. I just noticed that this car has a face like Thomas the Coltrane. Again, Walt Whitman was ahead of his time. Also, Mickey does this to a pig. There are two pigs in this one. I like this one. Number 28. The Castaway. Stephen the Sex Hamster is sailing the seas on the uncovered mattress that I sleep on. He uses a fish to litho break into a nearby island and spies a few tasty bananas. I can tell by the art of visual storytelling that the bananas are there and that Mickey Mouse is also probably hungry because he's been on sea for a long time. This is quite clever because the worst cartoon would probably just explain using words that there are bananas there and that Mickey Mouse is hungry.
Bananas! Am I hungry?
You see, this is why I don't like the talkie cartoons. They were better in the Oswald days when he would just show rather than tell, because it was silent. The modern cartoons are padded with too much piano playing and too extended musical numbers with lots of animals. Oswald would show rather than tell. Which, anyway, the bananas, turns out the beach is full of spiders. Then Mickey Mouse runs a piano and then plays the extended musical number with lots of animals for the rest of the cartoon. I don't like this one. Number 29. The Moose Hunt. Milton and his pet dog Pluto go into the woods with a shotgun to nab themselves some tasty moose meat. Wait a minute, wasn't Pluto Minnie's dog and also dead? I guess he got better. Enceladus decides to wander off and do dog things for a while, and he finds some twigs that look like antlers. He put them on because playing dress-up is fun. Mickey spies the silhouette of a moose-shaped quadruped and starts a shooting. Mickey realizes what he had done. He had slain his only canine friend. He cries over the freshly murdered beast for 4 minutes straight. The film then crossfades into a shot of the Pooch's gravestone, and the music and picture starts getting louder and louder and more distorted. And Walt Disney really overused the TV simulator effect in Sony Vegas, and then Pluto's rotting corpse is shown and the film ends. Well, fellow Disney adults, you members of the Mickey Mouse fan club, that's all I can make for now. That I want to make for now. I've been working on this on and off for 4 years, and yeah, part 3 coming next week or next decade. I'm not sure. You stay out of Drunken Andy's guitars, there'll be no more menthol cigarettes or Minnie Mouse flavored tampons for anyone.